This year for her birthday, the only thing that my daughter wanted was a bedroom makeover. And the main thing that she was looking for was a beachy loft bed with a desk underneath. So I started planning and I was happy to find this awesome video by Rogue Engineer that was the exact look that she was going for. But the problem was that on our second floor, we have 8-foot ceilings. So a loft bed that has enough room for her to sit up in bed has barely any room underneath, even for a 12-year-old girl, and definitely not enough room for her 40-year-old dad. But I am not exactly in the business of telling my daughter that I can't do something, so I came up with this motorized rising loft bed that leaves her plenty of room to sit up in the bed, and with a simple press of a button, it gives tons of headroom underneath, enough for even her 6'1" dad. I had originally planned to use 2 separate motorized standing desks and then somehow synchronize their motors, but on Amazon I found this enormous standing desk frame that said it could support table sizes of up to 130 by 60 inches and it could lift up to 352 pounds. And since a full bed is only 75 by 54 inches and my daughter weighs under 100 pounds, this thing definitely fits the bill. Also on Amazon, I picked up a simple metal bed frame for just over $40, which is way cheaper than I could have built it on my own, and it saved me some weight over using wood. And day 1 of this project was all about just figuring out how these 2 pieces of the project were going to fit together properly. I ended up making some slight modifications to the standing desk frame by flipping around one of the legs so that the motors would be on the same side, and I cut off the cantilevered supports on the front and the back since I wanted the legs to sit flush with the ends of the bed. Then I started putting bolts through the bed frame into the table frame until I felt confident that it wasn't going to go anywhere. And after that, it was time to get up on the bed and get some measurements for how tall the bed needed to be for my daughter to be able to sit up comfortably. And then I built some simple framing out of 2x4 that I attached to the studs on the back wall, and then another floating section at the foot of the bed, and then I called in some help to get the bed lifted up onto those 2 frames. After that, I spent a little bit of time just making sure the bed was totally centered before I locked it into place by building a 2x4 square in between the legs on both sides. And after that, it was time for the first stability test. And you can see that the wall side was rock solid, but the floating side that was only connected to the wall on one of its sides was for sure not sturdy enough, and thankfully my daughter had a sleepover that night because there was no way that she was sleeping in this bed at the end of day 1. So at the start of day 2, it was time to add some extra rigidity, and I did that with stairs that I made out of 3/4 inch birch plywood. After hauling those up the stairs into her room, I marked the wall where the openings landed, and then I cut 2x4s to attach the stairs to the wall by screwing down through the top. And the original plan was to put some extra vertical dividers into the shelves to increase their strength, but after doing some initial testing, it didn't seem necessary, and the stairs were plenty rigid even without them. For the bottom of the bed and the ceiling of the loft, I ended up using 1/2-inch plywood, but in hindsight, I should have just used shiplap, which would have been easier, more cost-effective, and probably would have looked better. And at the end of day 2, as this thing started to look more like a bed, I just needed to get a bed rail installed so my daughter would have some place to sleep that night. Then day 3 was the start of some more precision work, where I needed to start worrying about how things were actually going to look in the end. And I realized that my original design wasn't going to allow me to conceal the motor at the foot of the bed. So I decided I needed to cut about 3 inches off the wall with the circular saw, which is never fun, but it was totally necessary for this project to move forward. And after I got that thing cut off, I felt a lot better about the vision for the rest of the bed. So the next step was just making sure everything was square, and then I started to make things look a little bit nicer by adding some oak stair treads, and I cut my first few pieces of shiplap. I also made sure to rough in plenty of electrical for LED lighting, light switches, and outlets above the bed for my daughter to charge all of her devices. And then after getting all that electrical covered up, I spent a ton of time raising and lowering the bed just to check for clearances before calling it a day. Day 4 was basically an entire day of just cutting shiplap, and since I didn't want to make a whole lot of sawdust inside the house, I made quite a few trips up and down the stairs. 53 in fact, according to my Apple Watch. And there was really nothing else to see here, just a lot of cutting shiplap and a lot of going up and down the stairs. Day 5 is exactly my kind of day, with all the trim and lighting going in, and I love seeing this light at the end of the tunnel where it starts to feel like a more finished project. For lighting, I went with 6-inch Govee RGB downlights under the bed and then 12-volt tunable white LED strips in each of the cubbies above the bed. And last, I relocated all that wiring to an accessible location under the mattress before buttoning up the shiplap on the back wall. And then I also installed a small removable partition wall that raises and lowers with the bed in order to hide the frame and all the wires when the bed is in its raised position. At the start of day 6, I filled about 1,000 finish hole nails in the shiplap, and then I tagged in my wife and daughter to get the painting done while I put up the Christmas light show. And I even helped a little bit. After the first coat was done, I went back and I caulked all the large joints with flexible caulk before my wife came back for a second coat of paint. And after that, I installed the LED strips into the stairs using aluminum channels and diffusers. And after that, it was all just finishing touches like adding a simple desk from IKEA, a beanbag chair for her reading corner, and switching out the ceiling fan for something a little less dangerous. And this project was pretty much finished. All in all, I think it came out great, and the most important thing is that my daughter loves it, and it should be able to grow with her all the way through high school, right? If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around for something other than my normal review content, and I definitely do appreciate the opportunity that I have to take a few days out of my normal schedule to build something cool for my daughter that she will hopefully remember for the rest of her life. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and as always, thanks for watching The Hookup.